Bangladesh is on the boil. The country is facing turmoil after the death of youth leader Sharif Osman Hadi. Hadi's killing has triggered violence and arson across Bangladesh. Hadi's killing comes at a time when Bangladesh is heading for elections. Hadi's organization, the Inkilab Mancho, is amping up the pressure on Bangladesh's interim government. They have put forth 3 demands to the Yunus government: arrest all those who planned, assisted and carried out Hadi's murder, take action against collaborators within the country's civil and military agencies, and the resignation of Bangladesh's Home Affairs advisor if he doesn't provide a satisfactory explanation for the failure. 2 bike-borne assailants shot Hadi on December 12th. The prime accused is a man called Faisal Karim Masood. The police are yet to reach Masood, but his family members have been subjected to arrests. His parents and wife have been arrested in relation to the case. Meanwhile, 2 people have been remanded on charges of helping Masood escape. They are being questioned over the shooter's whereabouts. Bangladesh's Election Commission has also swung into action. Early in the day, the Election Commission held a high-level meeting where the law and order situation in the country was discussed ahead of the upcoming polls. Hours before the meeting, the chiefs of Bangladesh's Army, Navy and the Air Force also met the Election Commission. Bangladesh is scheduled to hold elections on February 12th next year. Political activities are expected to intensify in the run-up to the polls. Jamaat-e-Islami leader Mir Ghulam Parwar says that his party's candidates are worried after Hadi's death. He says the Jamaat's candidates for all 300 seats are concerned for their safety and even their lives. Hadi was shot by masked gunmen last week while leaving a mosque in Dhaka. He later succumbed to his injuries in a hospital in Singapore on Thursday. As news of Hadi's death spread, people set fire to several buildings in Dhaka, including the offices of leading newspapers Protom Alo and the Daily Star. Cultural institutions and the residence of a former minister were also attacked. In a separate incident, a Hindu man, Deepu Chandra Das, was lynched by a mob. Bangladesh's chief advisor, Muhammad Yunus, says that at least 10 people have been arrested in connection with the murder of Das. Meanwhile, alleged atrocities against minorities has also sparked anger in India. A torchlight procession was organized in West Bengal, protesting against the alleged ongoing atrocities and systematic persecution of the minority Hindu community in Bangladesh. During the protests, the demonstrators also burned an effigy of Bangladesh chief advisor Muhammad Yunus. The chief of the RSS, Mohan Bhagwat, has also commented on the situation. He says that the Indian government needs to take cognizance of the matter and that something needs to be done. Mr. Sandeep Ghosh is a political commentator and an author. He's now joining us live from Kolkata. Mr. Ghosh, thank you very much for your time and welcome to the broadcast.
Yeah.
What can the Yunus government do at this hour, or what can the Indian government do at this hour to quell the anger in Bangladesh?
The Indian government has trifled little to do because, it's a foreign country and they would not interfere into the affairs of a neighboring country. So I don't see Indian government directly intervening. Indian government can always prevail through diplomatic channels on the Bangladesh present regime and advising them, asking for restraint or protection of the minorities. One of the Indian embassy, the Deputy High Commission's office in Chittagong was attacked. So India would definitely ask for those sort of protections. But beyond that, I don't think India can do much. Mm-hmm. But the question is more of the, as you said, the chief advisor. I think the whole situation has arisen because things have gone totally out of his control. When you really, usher in a regime which in some form is filled with contradictions, is filled with elements which are, putting it mildly, unpredictable, or they have their own. And if you don't have that political acumen, as well as governance acumen to bring them in, just because you have been chosen or nominated to be the head of state, you find your limitations. And I think Yunus is totally out of depth. to handle this, and it should be handled either through seasoned administrator, or maybe one would not normally recommend handing it over to the armed forces or somebody. It needs a strong-handed, and Yunus is like kind of playing with, as they say, on both sides. He's going and attending one funeral. He's trying to egg some very strong radical forces. He's at the same time maintaining his hostility towards the previous regime. Forget Hasina, but Army League is not a small party. They represent a very large section of the masses. You just can't rule them out. So I think much of the problem is of his own making, and his backers, his supporters have to review his competence or his legitimacy to continue.
Mr. Ghosh, we are looking at the elections in February 12th next year. What needs to happen in Bangladesh right now? And considering what you've said about the chief advisor, Mohammed Yunus, he doesn't seem like a very strong man or a strong contender in these elections. But what needs to happen in Bangladesh before and after the polls?
The election itself is mired in controversy, because he's doing an election. Simultaneously, he's also doing a referendum. Now, if the referendum happens, it changes the entire constitutional structure, and you could well have a Yunus becoming, a permanent ruler, because they are reducing the stature of the elected prime minister who would come in, or elected government, and it's a big hodgepodge. So they were doing the two things simultaneously. There was a demand to first do the referendum and then do the elections. They're instead doing things together. And there is no signs today that that election can take place in a, not only a free and fair manner, but even practically how it will happen. So there is one, you can call it a conspiracy theory, or a thing that some of these problems have actually been to some extent engineered, so that they have an excuse to postpone the elections and just probably hold the referendum, which gives Yunus the power to continue indefinitely.
Okay. Mr. Ghosh, it's good to see you. We'll have to end it there. Thank you very much for talking to us today.
Pleasure. Pleasure for calling me, and always a pleasure to talk to your audience. Thank you so much, sir.